Hello and welcome to The Scramble. I'm your host, Adrian Lefebvre. Today is all about political campaigns running at full throttle. We've got debates, performance issues, reproductive rights, new unemployment reports, and what is up with the Electoral College. Once again, I'm joined by my esteemed panel to help put all things in perspective. Robert Rizal III. He's a senior here at UNLV, double majoring in African American Studies and journalism. We also have Rachel Stevens back with us. She's also a senior and a CSUN senator and a health and sciences major. And Brittany Spurlock, a junior here at the Greenspan College studying broadcast journalism. And you are a junior. I'm sorry, I thought you were a senior for some reason. Unfortunately, Eric Leach will not be joining us today, but he will be back on our next episode. All right, so let's get started. What about the first presidential debate? President Obama wasn't the only one who didn't recognize the Mitt Romney beside him on the stage that night. Many viewers felt that they had not seen this side of the presidential candidate. Articulate, aggressive, lively, and polls reported that Romney was the clear victor of the first round, while Obama appeared to be unprepared and flustered. Rachel, how do you think the candidates performed?
Oh my goodness. Everyone's saying, wow, Romney really creamed Obama. And I'm sitting there asking, did they see the same debate that I did? I was so bored. I was bored to tears the whole time. I felt like Romney was pandering. Oh, whatever I can say to get your vote. Yeah, I'm for middle class people. I'm still against lowering taxes on the rich. And Obama, I feel, is just throwing the whole debate. I don't think he's really.
What do you mean throwing the whole?
I feel like he's not in it to win it with his performance. So yeah, Obama, what are you doing? And Romney, well, same old flip floppers. That's all I.
Really?
That's how.
So you were not impressed at all, Robert?
No, not.
I will start really putting a lot of stock into these presidential debates when they allow fact checkers to live fact check these things, and then when a presidential candidate says something that's an outright lie, a buzzer is hit so that they are embarrassed on television. Because if both of these candidates just spewed garbage after garbage after garbage after garbage. And I was watching it, I happened to be watching it at a sushi restaurant where you couldn't hear them talking, so I didn't get the liveliness thing, but I just was able to read everything because it was closed caption. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if there are independent voters who are watching this and they're really taking this, like this is what's going to get me, to one side or the other, I am terrified because it's scary to think that people will watch these things and that these things are put on and presidential candidates don't want to have fact checkers there because, they want to be able to say whatever they want to say. They want to pander, like she was saying. They want to pander and they want to say, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that so that they can get that vote. And then when they get in office, they do whatever they want to do. They do whatever they actually plan on doing. And it's scary to think that these things really do weigh in heavily on the mind of independent voters.
Well, and they do. I mean, the polls actually, already the lead that Obama had is really tightening up. Some polls show Romney ahead now. And certainly the independent vote has really swung quite dramatically since that debate. Brittany, where are you on this one?
Here's what I think.
Put it down.
Obama is setting up Romney. I think that he wanted to let him think, oh, you're doing a good job. You think you're going to win this one. And then in the next ones, he's going to cream him. He just wanted him to have confidence and think that, he's getting ahead and he knows what he's doing and he's got everybody going for him, and then he's just going to murder him later.
You think so? So you think the town hall debate is going to be Obama all the way?
Yeah.
A beat down.
I think he's just waiting.
Are they going to have live fact checkers there? That's all I want to know.
Well, economic policy is something that's a little more, it's difficult to.
It's not that difficult. If you have somebody there that can take care of the numbers, who knows math, knows economics, look at it.
Let's ask a specific question. Did you agree with, and Big Bird's been way overplayed, but what did you think about the kind of test that Romney was going to give for federally funded programs? If it means that we need to be in debt to China, if it means more debt to China, then he's cutting it.
Well, so he's going to look at programs and say, is it worth borrowing from China? So regardless of what it is, we're going to be borrowing from China is what he's saying. And that's what stuck out most to me. So in the end, we're going to end up borrowing from China for something, which I think is bad policy all around. I think we need to audit the Federal Reserve, things like that, before we start borrowing any more money to support all these little social programs And of course, borrowing to fund more wars and build up our military defense. Because apparently 3 trillion bajillion nukes just isn't enough for national defense.
Right, I think to your point that the reason the PBS thing has gotten so much play is because PBS is like...
I should not have even brought it up.
No, I'm just
I already
saying, but
apologize.
PBS is less than like 0.1%.
I think it's 0.01%.
It's
Right.
something so small. Like, oh,
Again,
that's
I
going to cut, and
apologize.
we're going to
I'm
save
sorry.
so
I
much
said
money
We
doing that.
cut craft services for the production crew of PBS. Like, we
Right.
don't have a deficit anymore, thank God.
Right,
Like,
PBS is just, I mean, that's our deficit right there. They're getting $1.2 trillion a year. That's where our deficit
Okay,
is. Right
so
there.
we're just going to wait for the next town hall. We're going to wait for the next town hall, and then we're going to see. I can't wait for the next show where we get to, maybe we could do a live broadcast and do a play-by-play on the beatdown. Okay, let's move on to our next topic. Women's reproductive rights, abortion, and contraceptives are divisive issues, both politically and socially. According to forthestate.net, when these topics are covered in print media, men were quoted 79% of the time, while women were only quoted 13% of the time. Broadcast media is not much better, with men being quoted 81% of the time and women only 16% of the time. The remaining percentages were quoted by organizations. This is obviously an important topic. Janelle Vanoy asked UNLV students if they thought that this gender gap affects the framing of these controversial issues.
So the framing of the issue is the media's responsibility, and because they're not utilizing women's voices for women's issues, then I think that the credibility of those media outlets does decrease, becoming the opportunity to women to speak on their own issues.
Absolutely it does. It definitely informs on who they're really looking at, what perspective on these policies they're writing. It also informs on how the laws are being written. In Congress, a lot of the time, the people who are for more controls over Planned Parenthood are the ones who actually will not benefit from them.
Well, it definitely affects the issues and how things are being framed, because women are clearly being underrepresented. I believe middle class and women are being are not being nearly as covered as they should.
All right, Brittany, let's go to you on this one first. Does the gender gap affect the way that these issues are covered by the media? Accurately framed, do you think that it's an issue that needs to be looked at? We look to the media for accurate coverage, especially of controversial and important issues. What do you think about this?
I think so. Romney has this whole thing about not having abortion and limiting women's rights, and I don't really think that he understands because he's not a woman. I think that it's important that women do have a voice in this because it's dealing with them. It's their rights. How are other people going to, or the other gender, going to know what is right for women? We don't know what's right for men because we're not men. So
do we know what's right for women? We look at these percentages and it seems like are women even being heard? I think that we may have some opinions or thoughts on whether or not they are, but what do you think, Rachel? Or I'm gonna get to you. Rachel.
That's fine.
you're a man, we don't.
Right, I don't know anything.
We're gonna get the girls first.
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying.
Well, I feel like it's trying to have this gender war. Oh, if men talk about it, they're obviously against it. And I don't think it's women's reproductive rights, it's human reproduction, because it takes two to tango. It's not, women aren't
Really?
reproducing by themselves.
Breaking news here on the Scramble.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you know? But honestly, as a woman, if a man talks about contraceptives or abortion, it doesn't sway me one way or the other. I don't feel like he's attacking me or anything like that, and I don't really think it matters.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue on this topic. Stay with us.
If you could see anything in the world, what would it be?
I'd love to see Paris.
I like to see cupcakes falling from the sky.
My daughter, married and happy.
I want to see things the way I used to.
Chances are, someone you love may one day be affected by macular degeneration or glaucoma. Log on to seeabettertomorrow.org or call 1-800-437-2423 to learn about glaucoma and macular degeneration. Call 1-800-437-2423 or log on to seeabettertomorrow.org.
I just want to see more of the things I love.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
All right, we're going to pick up where we left off. We're talking about media coverage of very controversial issues: abortion, contraceptives, women's rights. And we're finding out that women's voices are actually not being heard. 79% in print media, 79% of men are being quoted, 13% of women, pretty much the same in broadcast. Let's pick up where you left off.
So as I was saying, when a man speaks about these issues, again, this is human reproduction that we're talking about, and I don't feel threatened. I don't feel like my voice isn't being heard just because a man is speaking about abortion or birth control, because again, it takes two people to, do the deed. So I don't buy the argument that women aren't being heard, because it's not like anybody's saying you can't speak about it. It's just more men
They
are.
stop a woman in Congress from doing it. When she finally decided to spoke up, they censored her. One of the congresswomen.
Wait. What is this?
I can't remember which congresswoman, but she
We need
asked.
specifics, sir.
I can't remember the congresswoman, but she stood up and asked that, and she said explicitly, "I would like you to stop speaking about my vagina."
Can you say that on TV?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a organ of your body. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's not, Anyway, but she was censored for saying that. She would no longer, I don't know how necessarily that works, but you're censored. We're not having you speak. Does it undermine, the media's credibility as far as, as far as the reproductive rights is concerned? I mean, my feeling on reproductive rights is it's any person or group, or couple's right to choose what they want to do with their reproductive rights. I mean, I don't think that we necessarily be trying to throw laws and saying that you can't do this and you can do this or anything like that. Look, if the man and woman decide, this is in our best interest to do this, whether it be abortion or whether it have contraception or anything like that, then I personally do not have a problem with it, because it affects me in no way.
Okay,
whatsoever.
then let's talk about this politically, because obviously it's a social issue, but let's talk about politically. I think the number one topic is always going to be abortion. It's always abortion, and like you said, it's the creation of human life. This is where so much of the controversy rests. And knowing that society is so split on this issue, I think a lot of this debate comes down to what is the role of federal government in mandating some of these things. So is it because society has such different views? Should it be something that should be left up to the states? Would that give women a better voice to see what women actually feel about these issues?
Oh my gosh, as a staunch pro-life person, I hate using abortion as a women's rights issue, because I think this is a child's rights issue, and I don't think it has anything to do with reproductive rights. I feel like the federal government, we have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness or property, and life is the first one. So when we're talking about life as, it has nothing to do with the baby, it's more of the woman's right to choose whether or not to off her baby or not. I'm uncomfortable with that, and I feel like the government should step in and say, no, you can't murder your baby, that's infanticide. So, I don't know, pro-life person.
Well, yeah, when a person is born, yeah, that's definitely infanticide, but we're talking about an embryo or something like that, where further down the line there could be complications for whatever medical reasons, or if you have rape, or if you have forcible thing. I'm not saying that, 8 months in, please have an abortion. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, I don't think we have any fans of abortion.
Right, but I'm saying if you have had a couple has, they have this pregnancy and they're sitting there looking like, we're going to we're going to go either just dead broke trying to support this child and we screwed up and we can fix this within the first, early stages. I'm not saying you let it go on. And once you've let it go on, you've made your choice.
Right.
But if you're able to fix it within those early stages, it's not a person yet. It's not. It's a
and that's something that's very debatable. To get a little back on topic about women's voices being heard, is this something that what does this say about our media? That this is what does it do to their credibility if they're looking for accurate sources and we are talking about women's issues and they have a 13% is what they've come up with? Brittany, what do you think about that? Oh.
I don't know.
Well, they should have more. They should definitely have more of a voice. You should be able to find them. But
So the media needs to show more.
Yes, they do need to. But I don't necessarily think that the media is purposely saying, "I'm only going to speak to men. Or I'm not going to try to find women."
But where are the women jumping up and
I'm saying where are the how many? I would like to know. I don't know the statistics on it, but I would like to know how many more. I'm just talking about doctors in general, females to male, what the ratio is.
There's more male doctors than there are females.
Okay. So that's what we're going to have.
We're going to have to take a quick break. We may come back on this, and we're also going to talk about the new jobs report. Stay with us.
Winston, just one more inning, Grandma.
Ever notice how many things today kids can do without actually moving? A whole lot of things their parents used to do the hard way. So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part, which makes exercise even more important for children. In fact, new research tells us the best time to enhance bone development is during childhood and adolescence. And just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Healthy bones come from healthy habits. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and one person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Welcome back from the break. I think that we've agreed to disagree and maybe look into a couple of things more. But we're going to move on. The new jobs report for September is getting a lot of attention. For the first time since February of 2009, it shows that unemployment has dropped from 8.1 to 7.8%. However, there are a few caveats that comes with this good news. Even though unemployment is down, the numbers show that many people just gave up looking for work, and many people who did find work only gained temporary or part-time employment. Robert, what do you think? How accurate is this jobs report in depicting the landscape?
How is giving up looking for work no longer unemployment? If that's in there, if that's written in there, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Well, how the survey
because
is done.
I don't look for. I'm not currently working, but I'm not looking for work either. So am I considered employed? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, all right. I wasn't sure if the way you said that was kind of odd. But as far as how accurate the jobs report is, I mean, honestly, you're not.
Do you think it accurately reflects the employment landscape in the United States right now?
No. There's no way. There's no way. And I don't think the thing is, I don't think it's possible to really get a very accurate measurement of that, because you have people like, for instance, my fiance worked for a long time under the table, where she wasn't having to file any kind of income tax.
Not anymore. She
didn't.
Like
oh no, this was a couple years ago.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So she was doing things like that. How many people do you have that are working under the table that are doing things like that, or doing jobs where they can find the kind of work where you're getting paid like $200 for turning in something, or $200 for doing this,
Okay,
stuff
so
like
you're
that.
saying that it's kind of an immeasurable thing. Where do you think the employment is right now? Obviously, we have, especially in Nevada, we have unemployment issues.
No, I don't think.
Do you think
I don't think
it's better?
I don't think the employment has gotten better. I think it's been going downhill personally since like 2006. Like, I don't think it's gotten any better. And the more outsourcing of jobs that we send over to, India, and we send over to China, and we send over to Japan and any other country, so that we can avoid, corporations can avoid paying, taxes, you're gonna, the employment's
and that's another issue, taxes. Rachel, what do you think about this? Do you think it's an accurate report?
I don't think it's accurate, and I would love to know the margin of error on this, because 7.8 and 8.1 are very, very similar. But something that you have to realize is they've always not included people who are no longer looking for work. There's a 6-month window of time that they include those people in when they're doing the survey. And of course it skews your data whenever you have a disproportionate amount of people that are no longer looking for work at all, but they have no job.
Right.
So I don't believe that unemployment has gone down. I think we're still in an awful recession. And I think with Obamacare coming up, if that passes, and mandatory funding of healthcare, I think unemployment is going to go through the roof because businesses won't be able to hire more people. And until we bring manufacturing jobs back and bring down corporate tax rates, things like that, I don't think we're going to see
a big change
more
in those
people
numbers
with
at all.
actual jobs.
Brittany, we've just got a little bit of time left. What do you think this is an accurate report?
No.
That it's better or worse than 7.8% unemployment?
Worse. Like he said, a lot of people work underneath the table. Like people do research studies and they get paid for, having back pain and letting people research on them, or taking a drug, but they don't have to, let people know that they're doing it. And they do that, to make their money.
Right.
And I think there are a lot of people who still aren't finding work. I know a lot of people, like one of my friends, she's been looking for work for about a year and still hasn't found anything.
We are going to have to take another short break, but let's come back on this topic and talk about how this is being used, this report's being used politically. Stay with us.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part. New research tells us that just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Welcome back from the break. We have not had one here. We are still going strong on the jobs report. The new number is out. 7.8%. It's dropped. And I think we're all in agreement here, maybe for different reasons, that is not accurate, that you don't think that is accurate. How is this being used politically? Obama's campaign wants to say that this is showing what a good job he's been doing with the economy. And Romney is saying, much like many of you here, that this is not accurate at all. And this in no way means that things are getting better.
Well, can we
Probably, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking, can we not, I hate the, the fact that we go, Obama's done such a great job, or he hasn't done such a great job. Once again, I always fall back on this. Congress isn't going to let you do anything, you're not going to be doing a good job regardless of what you try to do. That's the end-all, be-all here. So,
right, but they're saying that this shows what a good job he has been doing. He saved, he bailed out the motor companies. He's helped with a number of,
with help from the previous administration, that
that
Detroit
was
bailout.
But they are saying that is a big deal while he's ahead
I don't
in
think
some big
any.
swing
I
states.
think those were probably the worst things that we could have done politically is to bail out these
So
companies.
you don't think it's a good idea for them to take credit for that?
Okay, so if I have a company, my own company, Roselle Motors, and it failed, but it's a little company, where the government's not going to bail me out, but just because we have these
They're
bigger
preying
companies.
on people's ignorance,
Exactly,
basically. The
exactly.
undecided voters or the people that don't look into things as meticulously as some voters would. And they're saying, oh, Obama's doing a great job. Vote for Obama. Well, you're just preying on their ignorance because when most of the people that you're not counting just have no work and they've given up, that wasn't the hope and change they were looking for. And I think it's unfair. And I don't like it at all that they're using that to say Obama's done a great job. He hasn't done a great job. And then Obama's saying that he's going to bring, 42 million jobs back in the next
That's all
years.
that's going to happen anyway.
Well, yeah, even if it's going to happen.
Look,
but
it's hard to undo what happened the past 8 years in 4. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's hard to do that. It's really hard. So, I mean, could he have progressed a lot further than what he had? Absolutely. But I'm not going to say, he's done such a terrible job because we're still here. It took a long time to get to this point.
Absolutely.
It did not happen overnight.
Absolutely, but I think, and Brittany, I'm going to come to you on this one. I think, number one issue in this campaign, does anybody know what it is?
Jobs.
The economy.
Jobs.
So how do you think, here they're saying it's not really a good idea for Obama to spin it this way. What do you think about how this impacts his campaign in that even everyone can agree pretty much across the board that they don't think these are accurate numbers? Is that something that he should admit? Is that something, or that he should say, no, I'm doing a good job with this. Let's move forward.
Yeah, that's exactly something that he should say, because people are like, if this is Obama, is this what your result is? Is this what you wanted? Is this what you think is a good job and where we want to be right now? And so they're saying, is this all, as far as he's going to go? Then why is he still president? He hasn't done anything, and if this is what he thinks is doing a good job, then we need somebody else. So I think that he needs to admit it and let people know so they know, hey, we're not there yet. I'm still working. You just can't undo all those years of the economy breaking down in 4. It's not possible.
I think we talked about it in the last show. The idea that, everybody wants answers right now, and we want everything right now. And just sometimes, you just can't get those. You can't have everything happen right now. It's just going to take some time. And on both sides, we hear, oh, well, he should be further along, he should be doing this. And then the other guy's like, no, this is, we've been held back. And there's all this infighting. It seems ridiculous to me. It's like, look, we're going to get there when we get there, but we have to be able to admit that we made mistakes. Say, look, we made mistakes doing this. Be able to try new things, do things, work together, and then if we screw up, be able to say, look, I tried to do this, it didn't work.
Not going to work.
But we as human beings don't like to admit.
So it's kind of going to be a toss-up then, I think. If we're talking just straight economy, we just got a little bit of time. Straight economy, Romney has been seen as an executive of a state and many businesses, and Obama. Maybe not doing as good a job as everyone would hope. We're going to have to call it as a show for that. So for Brittany, Robert, Rachel, and myself, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you'll see us right back here next time on The Scramble.